Well, yesterday I told you at great length about the lawsuit between NextEra out of Florida and Esther Wrightman, a landowner west of London, Ontario. Well, she joins us now from London, Ontario. Welcome to the show, Esther. Appreciate you being here. Let me ask you a few questions about you, about who you are. I had never heard of you until I saw this lawsuit. Tell our viewers a bit about yourself. How old are you? Do you have a family? What do you do for a living? Set the scene for us. Who are you?
Well, I'm a 32-year-old mother. I work at a plant nursery. It's a family nursery. That's basically me before wind turbines came.
Well, and then how did you move from being a mild-mannered mom and plant nursery person to being this anti-wind turbine activist? What flipped the switch on you to turn you political?
Well, when you see, as soon as I saw the map that showed that the turbines would surround my kids' school, that's what flipped the switch. And I realized that nobody was protecting it. Nobody was doing studies. Nobody was going to care for the children. It was just me, you know, me and the community, mothers, parents, grandparents. That was it.
So how close are these turbines built yet, or are they currently about to be constructed? What is the state of affairs around your kids' school?
That project should be approved within the next month. It's very close to having its full approval.
And how many wind turbines, and how big will they be, and how close will they be to your kids' school?
There are 38 turbines in that project, and that's just the one project. There's also 2 others in the area that are another 20 turbines plus another 2, so 3 different wind companies. And there's at least 10 turbines within 2 kilometers of the school. And then, yeah, it just, as further away you get from the school, the more turbines there are.
Now,
yeah.
What exactly about these turbines is it that causes you to oppose them? What are the problems that you foresee having?
Well, the noise, for sure, that's a huge problem. And, you know, it's not just the school. It's when the kids go home and when people are at their homes or at their work, their farms. If you have constant noise like that, we know that people are moving out of their homes because they can't stand it. They can't sleep. They won't be able to concentrate. They get tinnitus. You hear these stories every single day. It's nothing new. We see it all the time all over Ontario now.
How tall are the turbines that are proposed for near your kids' school?
Those ones are 1.5 megawatts. I believe they are something like, they're 400 and some odd meters, something like that. I get them mixed up with it.
So it's about a 50-story building, really.
Yeah,
That's like a skyscraper in downtown Toronto.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So what did you do? I mean, I've been to some of your websites and I've seen you take some sort of home movies of things. Yesterday, I understand you were at some community hearing. How are you fighting back? I mean, I take it you were politically inactive. You were sort of apolitical until this came along. Give me an example of some of the things you do to try and stop or change these wind turbines.
Oh, yeah. Every day is an adventure. It could be a protest. Yeah, we protest just about anything, whether it's Premier Wind coming to town or it's a wind company meeting. Other than that, we also, like yesterday, it was an Environmental Review Tribunal hearing. We appealed that project. It was another NextEra project. When the Eagle Nest was chopped down, you get in the car and you drive 2 hours south. You just go. You just do it.
And we had some video footage of that yesterday. Tell me about the Eagle's Nest being chopped down. I come from Alberta, and if you touch one bird, yeah, like even a duck, if you're an oil company, literally there's criminal charges. I mean, Syncrude has gone to criminal court for hurting birds. Yeah. Here is a video you took about why would they chop down an eagle's nest? I mean, I don't know if eagles are endangered or anything, but that just seems like a really bad thing for a wind turbine company to do.
Well, it is a species at risk. There's only, I believe, 52 pairs in Ontario. So taking down one nest is a big deal, and you know, it was done very behind the scenes. The Ministry of Natural Resources gave their permission to do it on a Friday evening, and if my dad wouldn't have seen that on the registry, nobody would have known. It would have been chopped down the next morning and nobody would have saw it.
So they got permission on the Friday afternoon and they chopped it down the Saturday morning, is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what happened, yeah.
And I see the footage here, so you went there and filmed this. I take it NextEra was not pleased with this. I mean, why did they chop it down? I mean, why oh, someone's coming towards you here on the camera now with a mask over his face. Why did they do this?
Well, Yeah, the project had been approved. They were going to start construction. They hadn't started yet. And they didn't want to go back and rejig things. They didn't have any alternative locations to put these turbines, so they just go full steam ahead and they put them up, whatever's in the way, whether it's a home that is going to be affected, some kids in it that are autistic or anything, whether it's a bald eagle's nest, just remove it. That's the mentality.
Huh. Now, I saw a hand there come across the lens of your camera. Have you ever been touched or arrested or pushed by either wind turbine people or government officials for your activism?
I make sure that they don't. I basically tell them don't touch me. And, you know, in that case, we walked across a kilometer across the field to get there. The police had said, you know, you can't go across there, it's trespassing. But we went, and they didn't stop us. It was quite quiet after that. They understood that what we were doing.
Well, listen, we're going to take a break, Esther, but after the break, I want to talk to you about when this really turned dark, when NextEra filed a lawsuit against you with one of the biggest law firms in Canada. That's after the breaks. Don't move a muscle, folks. You want to hear this. We're talking with Esther Wrightman, the Ontario landowner west of London, who is being sued by a U.S. multi-billion-dollar wind turbine company because she dares to oppose their wind turbines. Welcome back to the show. By the way, Esther, I want to let you know I've extended a standing invitation to NextEra to come on the show. So far, they've declined. Frankly, I don't blame them. This is a tough spot. I wouldn't want to have to explain it if I was them. But let's talk about when they decided to get truly nasty. And by nasty, I mean suing you in a court of law for what seems to me to be a peaceful protest on your part. Just to confirm, you have not done anything violent. You have not vandalized any property. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Have you been charged with any offense or arrested in conjunction with this? No.
No.
You didn't look that way. How about your husband? Tell me a little bit about him. What does he do?
He stays in the background. Yeah. He just lets me be.
Yeah.
Do what I need to do.
Well, I want to ask you about when they sued you. You started using that logo. We showed it before. You made fun of their name, NextEra. You called it NextTerror. Mockery, parody, satire, whatever you want to call it. It's not illegal in Canada as far as I know. But they started phoning. I read the lawsuit. They said they phoned you again and again and again and again and again. And then they served you with a cease and desist notice. How many times did they pester you to try and get you to stop calling them NextTerror?
Quite a few times. I wasn't home a lot of the times they called because I was working. And then the cease and desist order, that was dropped between my doors. And I picked that up when I came home from grocery shopping. So it was, you know, it was, I guess, persistent on their part.
Now, they contacted your internet service provider and asked them to delete this from your blog. Your website company did that, but then you contacted them and it went back up. Am I right?
They didn't put it back up. They gave, when I contacted them, they said, we'll give you 14 days, NextEra, to file a suit on her. And if within 14 days you don't press charges on her, we're going to put the images back up. So on the 14th day at 9 o'clock at night, that's when they served me.
Oh, so they came to your house, did they, at 9 p.m. at night?
Yeah, yeah.
It was just, what, last month or so?
Yes, yeah.
Who was it? Was it just a process server? Did you recognize the person? Did they scare you? Did they just ring the doorbell and say, you're served? What was it like?
Yeah, that's basically what it was like. They asked your name. You know, it was you Esther Wrightman? I said, yes. And I asked him, I said, do you know what you're doing? And he was kind of upset when he found out that I was fighting turbines because he didn't like them either.
Well, now, I've read this lawsuit. It's by an enormous firm called McCarthy Tatro, one of the biggest firms in the country. 3 lawyers drafted. It's a very complex commercial litigation. They're not actually suing you for saying the word terror. It's not a defamation lawsuit. They're claiming you're competing with them commercially by trying to confuse the market that NextTerror is a competitor of NextEra, and you're trying to confuse buyers of wind turbines for your own profit or something like that. Yeah. And they say you're engaging in a trade libel, which is, I mean, it's a very strange approach. Let me ask you, have you done anything in response? I mean, when you're sued, you have to file a notice of some sort with the court or you'll be steamrolled. Have you filed a statement of defense or a notice of any sort?
Yes, I did. I wrote up a 17-page statement of defense on my own, just spent a week doing that and trying to research and find out how.
But you're not a lawyer, are you? I mean,
No.
Well, I mean, you're up against 3 of the top gun lawyers in the country, and you know, with all due respect, you can be a very, very bright person, but if you don't have legal training, I mean, did you run it by a lawyer? Did you have any advice?
I asked for advice from different people, so you know, but I had to write it myself. Yeah.
Do you have any plans to hire a lawyer? I mean, you seem like a very nice lady, and you seem like, frankly, you're of modest means. I'm worried you're going to get absolutely steamrolled here by this big firm. Are you worried?
It doesn't worry me as much as the turbines, to tell you the truth. I mean, I should probably take it more seriously. I should have money to fight them. I don't know how much you would possibly need to fight them to win, but you know, you learn to fight with what you've got, and sometimes, you know, it's with whatever you have.
Huh. Well, what's the next step here? Have they been in contact with you since they actually served this lawsuit upon you?
I sent them my statement of defense, and that's the last I've heard. I just sent that directly to their lawyer. So.
All right, Esther, we're out of time today, but I want to keep in touch with you because a lawsuit can be a very grinding process. It'll be fascinating to me to see what they say against you next and what they drag you through. I think this is an Aaron Brockovich story all over again. They're trying to silence you, and so far they haven't worked. You keep fighting, okay?
Yeah, okay.